My name is Nick Elliott. I'm a rock photographer, as in rock music, and my art form is photography.
So how did you get into it? Start from the beginning. Tell me all about it.
It goes back a long way. It's all I've ever wanted to do. I set my stall out a long time ago. But the story starts in Peterborough. I'm a Peterborough born and bred lad, you know. And I left school, went to Stanground Comprehensive as it was then. I did, in my last year of being there, I did a full-time photography course. And then when I left school, I went into Peterborough Telegraph. EMAP as it was then, East Midlands Allied Press, and worked for the ET and Peterborough Advertiser for nearly 4.5 years as a junior press photographer. But then kind of moved into various different magazine stuff, freelanced a lot of stuff there, did a lot of motorsport, motorcycle news, car, auto car, won a lot of awards, did a lot of high-end fashion for various different magazines, a lot of editorial stuff. Some of the biggest advertising agencies on the planet, you know, Young and Rubicon, Gold Green, The Strop, Sarches, Yellowhammer, the list goes on. And then it got to the stage I'd got creatively strapped with it all, and I thought, no, this, you know, I'm now going to do what I want to do, but if I have a second passion to photography, it's music. I've been around it all my life. It started here for me, you know, in the borough. And my big break came really years ago. They used to have a legendary gig that happened in the Peterborough Tech College on Eastfield Road, and they called it the Tech College gig, would you believe? And I shot my first professional band there, which was a band called Trapeze, with the legend that is Glenn Hughes. And I then got on to work with Glenn, you know, a couple of times after that, met him, and you know, the guy became one of my heroes. And he got it all started. It was him and the band, and you know, that was that opportunity. But that opportunity was given to me by, at that time, a guy who was also such a massive influence on me, a guy called Jack Brindley, who was my chief photographer at the ET.
Go on then, do some name dropping of some bands that you've shot.
Robert Plant, Metallica, Iron Maiden, Thin Lizzy, Joe Bonamassa, Europe, hundreds. I mean, there's a massive list. If you go onto the website, it's all there.
And if you could pick sort of one piece or one photograph, does one spring to mind as kind of your favourite or your biggest achievement?
Yeah, my next one.
Okay.
I haven't shot it yet.
Okay.
Because every time I move the line, it's always about, you know, improving. Because for me, it's not about photography. My interest is not in photography, really. Photography is purely the medium that I use to shoot the art that I create. It's about art. That's where my interest is. What I shoot is, it's very avant-garde, it's very one-off, it's very bespoke. The stuff that I do, you know, I have a very good reputation for a Nick Elliott image. That's what it's about for me. It's about taking that shot, and it goes on, lives on way after my death, you know. And that's what it's about. It's a very deep, emotional, passionate thing for me. You know, it's not about just taking pictures.
What would be one piece of advice that you would give to someone that wanted to do what you do?
What, in my genre?
Yeah.
You mean in the music?
Well,
world?
both, as a musician
Well,
or as a photographer.
I think as definitely as a creative, I'll say. Whether that be photography, whether that be, you know, painting, sculpture, whatever it is. I think style, and in photography, that's the most important thing. You know, I've dedicated my life to this, to make such a personal kind of trademark of that is a Nick Elliott image. To produce a style, that's what it's about. To give yourself a character, some piece of place in something that's going on, and get away from all the rubbish that's going on, you know. And that's really the best kind of piece of advice that I could give to anybody trying to have a go.
Yeah, did you find your style came quite naturally, or did it take a lot of trial and error?
Well, my style really goes back to, I was highly influenced because my parents were attached to cinema. The great British movies, films, the black and whites, you know, the legendary films that this country used to make. Unfortunately, they don't make so many as they used to. Nobody makes films like the British. They never did, never will. So it comes from a lot of that. The seductiveness of heavy lighting, contrast lighting, black and white, the mood. You know, it's a very kind of, it's an emotional thing. You know, a kind of a love affair that I have with what I'm trying to create. It's an intimacy. You have to have that. And I think my biggest influence being David Bailey. You know, without a doubt, Bailey, he kind of took what he was doing at the time in the 60s, you know, Gene Shrimpton, Twiggy and these kind of things, with that Carnaby Street vibe that was going on, the sweet 60s. But Bailey pushed the line. He said, no, you could, you know, if you want me, we shoot it David Bailey's way. And that's very much the kind of emotion that I have. You know, still massively influenced by Bailey.
For you, so what would you say has been the biggest thing on the agenda this year for you?
The biggest thing on the agenda this year was this world first exhibition that I did, Size Matters. But it was a concept that I came up with about 4 years ago, and it was essentially driven by the fact of driving in, you know, the lovely UK. We were going somewhere. Forget where it was, and there's all these fields flashing by, you know, as all these cars and traffic is moving down the road, and I thought, bloody hell, you know, wouldn't it be great to just tip up one day and there's this huge image exhibition in the field at the side of the road, you know, and in fact it was that devastating that you couldn't stop because you were in the traffic. It grew from there, the whole kind of idea grew from there. And I then wanted to do something that I believe is literally a world's first, which is do a humongous exhibition, make the images big, and take this exhibition out to a massive audience. But then when you go into something that's 8.5 meters high, you hit things like health and safety. You know, how does this not blow down in the wind? So Kat, my publicist, she put it all together. She did a couple of pitches and picked up on a company that is Norfolk based, a place called Structure Flex, that do massive digital print images. So anyway, they were mad for it. They just couldn't get enough of it, and they really loved the idea. They wanted to get on the back of me, and you know. So we made this thing work. And this thing was then shown 13 images, 8.5 meters high, which were launched at a festival called Pageant of Power at a place called Cholmondeley Castle in Cheshire, 13th, I think, 12th, 13th of June this year. And we launched it to 70,000 people. And Structure Flex were very, very good. They accommodated everything. And it was a full sponsored show, which actually Kat's in the process of setting up. This thing will tour the UK in various different locations next year.